This meeting is being recorded.
Yes, it is. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dan Bell with the Hampton Roads Innovation Collaborative. That's the Tech Council for Hampton Roads, a 501c6 that's been in existence since the late 90s. We're a volunteer-only organization. We're fairly virtual, and what we try to do is advocate for high technology, for small business, entrepreneurism, and establishing contributing to the successful establishment of an innovation economy. So that's what our Tech Council is all about. We used to be in the incubator business years and years and years gone by, but now those are really everywhere with shared offices and all that. So we're trying to just run knowledgeable programs, knowledge-based programming, and hopefully everything that we do will be beneficial to at least many people in the audience. So I want to thank you all for coming. This is a special series this week. We're normally a monthly Tuesday. It's Tech Tuesdays, and that's, by the way, sponsored by Cox. I don't see anybody from Cox online here. Usually they'll show up and say a few words, but our thanks goes out to them for sponsoring our series. And so this is, as I mentioned, a special series we're running with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. Mr. Bobby Rushing will be our discussion leader today. And rather, when we first started talking, when Bobby was giving me the lowdown on the various programs were available, and we said, well, let's see, that's Tech Tuesday. That's like 5 months, and then we're like, well, how come we can't just do it in a week? Well, we can. There's nobody that says we can't. So here we are. This is day 2 of 5 days with wonderful content being scheduled as programming this week. So I want to thank everybody for showing up, and I will turn it over to Bobby to run the program, and then I'll come back in at the end. Now, keeping in mind that chat is available for your questions and answers. We would prefer no verbal interactions while Bobby is presenting, although at the end of the program, if we need to light up the mics for a couple questions, we certainly can do so. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Bobby, and I'm going to go stealth. And Bobby, the program is all yours.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you very much, Mr. Bell. Again, Mr. Bell has Mr. Bell and I have been in contact since the fall of last year, getting things together and to have a patent and trademark office presentation for the group. So thank you all for being here and being a part of today. Let me shut this thing down over here on the side. Sorry about that. So now my name is Bobby Rushing. I am a primary patent examiner here at the USPTO. My job is to say, I have the awesome task of saying, yes, you do get a patent. No, you don't get a patent. Here's why. Please try again. And I primarily look at inventions and patent applications dealing with gear-driven systems, including automobile transmissions and robot arms and joints. In fact, if you see the screen, you see the patent basis in my name. Behind that will be a picture. I didn't plan this. This is already pre-made, but I see some type of transmission with a clutch and gears and pinions and all that kind of stuff. So this would be in my wheelhouse in the background there. Notice, just like yesterday, if you were on yesterday, you probably heard the same thing from Ms. Elizabeth Doherty, my director here at the Eastern Regional Outreach Office. This content is for informational purposes only and is not legal advice. So please consult with appropriate sources for legal authority and guidance on these matters, okay? So today, I'm going to talk about, it's called Patent Basics, but we're going to take a higher level look at the contents of a patent application, enablement requirements, limitations of the claims, and the importance to capture the invention using clear and consistent language. Utility applications. So as Ms. Doherty mentioned yesterday, there are 3 types of patents. We have utility patents, which is what most people think about when you think about a patent, is a utility patent, something well, it's called utility because it has to have use. That's one of the statutory rules for having a patent, a utility patent. But again, there are design patents, which covers the ornamental look of an object. If you think of the front end of your car, the rear end of your car, the dashboard of your car, your refrigerator, the way your TV looks, those have will probably have design patents, and also plant patents. Those are asexually reproduced plants that could be, for sale and stuff. But today, again, we're going to talk about utility patents, utility applications. I'm sorry, because before you can get a patent, you have to submit an application. So there are two types of applications. I'm not going to dive too deep. We're going to tomorrow's presentation is going to be on provisional and non-provisional applications. Provisional applications are those that are submitted by an applicant for the sole purpose, well, for a purpose of acquiring an early filing date. Okay, so the provisional is neither examined nor published. The patent examiner like myself will not see a provisional application on this docket. Is there just to provide an early filing date. You have a 1-year limit, because after that, after that 1 year, the applicant does not have the right to that prior date, and it's only for utility. Design patents and plant patents do not get the rights, or do not get to file a provisional application. A non-provisional application are examined. They have claims, and written descriptions must meet the requirements. They are published 18 months from the earliest filing date, but an applicant can request that the application not be published at the time of filing, and it can become a patent. So we're going to get into the different parts of the patent. First is the title of the invention. The title should be short and specific in describing the invention. I have had to tell applicants, robot is not a great name for this invention. Okay, your application has been it is allowed. We're going to go ahead on and proceed, but first you need to change the title of it. So think of the title as a quick description of your invention. Robot arm that bends 8 ways, for example. Avoid generic language such as system and method for. Okay, just get straight to the point and allow the reader to readily ascertain what your invention is. The specification. That is the written description of the invention, and that is how to make and use the invention. You have to have clear, concise, and exact terms to allow any person skilled in that technology of the invention to make and use your invention. You have at least one specific embodiment. I've seen patent applications with multiple embodiments. But you can claim one, or broadly claim all of the embodiments, and it concludes with at least one claim, and it must begin on a separate page. The specification format, just real brief. It's just like in school and in college. 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, one side, 1.5 for double space. Margins, non-script font, not that fancy curly type of font. Arial, Times New Roman, Courier, preferably with the 12-point font. I'm a Times New Roman man myself. I like 12 font Times New Roman. That's an inside joke. Just a fun fact. And the application pages must be numbered consecutively. Again, just like when we were in college. And even school doing the term papers. Still, the specification sections include the title of the invention. We just mentioned that. The most common application sections include the background. That's where you would give a description of the state of the art of your invention. So if you're talking about a robot arm and what it's doing, then you would talk about in automobile manufacturing, you would have a robot that would have to have so many degrees of freedom. A brief summary of the invention, a brief description of the drawings. You have to, for every drawing figure that you have, then you will have to give a brief description of each drawing figure and a detailed description of the invention. Also, you have the claims as previously mentioned and an abstract in less than 150 words in one paragraph. Lesser used sections, okay, are cross-reference to related applications, and that's where if sometimes you would already have an application or maybe even a patent, but you want to update it, you want to improve on that patent or that technology, then you would reference those previous applications and patents. A statement regarding federally sponsored research, that's mandatory if you're getting a grant or so to if you've been awarded a grant for your research and a patent application comes from it. The names of parties in a joint research agreement, maybe you're doing something with Old Dominion, Norfolk State, some other college or university. Incorporation by reference of materials submitted via compact disc or text file. That doesn't really happen. We're getting out of the compact disc phase. Statement regarding prior art disclosure by the inventor or joint inventor. As I said at the top, similar, if you're going to update one of your own applications or patents. And sequence listing, that's for nucleotide and or amino acid sequences. Please don't ask me any questions on that. Background of the invention. This is a portion of the specification. You will talk about the field of the invention and the description of the related art. That is, describe what you know has been done before. Describe the problems of that prior art, and also to describe what the prior art that you already know about. Describe the problems of that prior art. A brief summary of the invention. Describe your invention at a high level, the problems that your invention solves, what makes your invention special and different, and what it does. A brief description of the drawings. So if the drawings, figures or flow diagrams are part of the application papers, again, this section needs to be provided before the application is considered complete and released from initial processing. And what this section includes is a brief statement of what each figure depicts, as previously mentioned. So the drawings themselves, the drawings are a part of the disclosure of the invention and are required if necessary to understand the invention. So you remember that the second slide, that transmission that was in the background. It would be difficult to have claims and a specification without drawings, because where would you get that? Somebody would have to draw it by hand themselves to figure out what's going on with the shafts and the gears and all that. It must show every feature of the invention claimed and must contain as many views as necessary to show the invention. The rules at the bottom, 37 CFR 184, two acceptable standards for the drawings include black and white drawings, and colored drawings are only permitted in design applications. And I think plant applications too, because plant applications, I think, you want to show what the color is of those flowers and plants. Again, the drawing requirements, black and white lines, in numbers heavy enough to permit adequate reproduction, because that's what's going to eventually become your patent. The use of reference characters, whatever is in the drawings must match up what's in the specification. Each figure must be drawing, figure 1, figure 2, figure 3, so on and so forth. Figure 4A, figure 4B, okay? And avoid using descriptive words within the figures. That's what the specification is for. Just have your numbers and have your specification to describe those numbers. Your abstract, again, it starts on a separate page with the heading abstract. Must be 150 words or less. one and a half or double space, in narrative form in a single paragraph, and it points out what's new what's new in your application. It's not a repeat of the claims or the brief summary, and it's written to enable the public to quickly discern the nature of the technical disclosure of the invention. The detailed description of the invention. Now, this is what really brings home the bacon. Okay, so it's a very important part of the application. You would have to explain the invention, and if you have a process, the process of making and using it in full, clear, concise, and exact terms. Okay. Focus on explaining the structures, the processes, and or the compositions of the invention, and refer to the figures if applicable, and explain the different parts by the reference numbers. The detailed description of the invention continued shall provide a clear support and antecedent basis for all terms that's used in the claims. What that means is when you finally have your claims written out, you would every structural member that you're pointing out in your claim must be in the specification. Okay, because your claims have to be backed by the specification. So if it's in the claims and not in the specification, then are you really talking about what you're inventing? And it can be helpful to draft your claims first. By doing that, you can decide what terminology to use and make sure that it's consistent throughout the specification. And you can also figure out which terms need to be defined or explained further. And the claims can then be a checklist to make sure that everything in the specification has clear support within the claims. Specification dues. Describe the invention clearly to allow any person skilled in the art to make and use the invention. When referencing the drawings, be sure that each reference number is used for only one part in the drawing. You can't have item 5 be the gear and the shaft. You have to have one or the other, and basically whatever it is in your specification. Provide at least one specific embodiment. As I was saying previously, you can have more than one, but including the best one that's given by you. Make sure that there's a brief description of the drawings if you're going to have drawing. Make sure that there's proper antecedent basis for all the terms in your claim, and focus on the features of your invention. Specification don'ts. You should not use trademarks in the title or in the claims to describe your structure. Did you know that Velcro, it seems so simple and so innocuous. The Velcro is a trademark brand. So instead of using Velcro, you would use hook and loop. The background of the invention does not need to state how the inventor conceived the invention. I came up with this idea while jogging, while in the shower. It was in a dream. Nobody cares. Avoid making claims of possible future success. This invention will make millions. Oh, it'll revolutionize the field of NFTs and blockchain. No, just keep it simple. Do not include a detailed description of the figures or refer to the reference characters in the brief description of the drawings. The keyword is brief, okay? And do not, this is key, forget to proofread your specification and look for grammatical and spelling errors. Now we're going to talk about the claims. The claims is the heart of the actual application and the patent, because the claims is what drives the patents. When you think about a patent, you're thinking about the front page, which has the inventor's name, the date, the patent number. That's important. The title, the abstract, and even a picture. But that's just the front page. The main heart of the invention of the patent is the claims. So about the claims, if it's in the claim, as previously said, it must be in the specification. That's what's called antecedent basis. The claims define the invention and aspects what are legally enforceable, okay? And it must conform to the invention that's set forth in the remainder of the specification. Terms and phrases used in the claims must find clear support, again, antecedent basis in the specification. Now, the form of the claim, again, just like the specification, is going to be just like high school and college. You're going to have it on a separate sheet, separate from all the other parts of the application. Double space, 1.5. Each claim is a single sentence, and of course, just like elementary school, we know that sentences begins with a capital letter and ends with a period. So you can have a any number of claims, but if you have more than 3 and more than 20 claims, then you would incur excess fees. Numbered consecutively in ascending order, of course, starting with 1 and down to 20 or 25 or 50. The original numbering is preserved throughout the prosecution. So just in case a number a claim is canceled, you don't roll up if claim 5 is canceled, you don't roll up claim 6 into claim 5. That stays canceled, and 5 stays that way until it's patented. So one problem that I won't say problem, but one issue that's between the inventor, or the patent examiner, the patent attorney or agent, and myself, the patent examiner, is what do you want? Do you want it to be too broad or too specific? Inventors want broad protection, okay? But that's sometimes not patentable, and we'll get into that. But if it's too specific, then it may not be valuable. All right, for example, we're going to talk about a claim that is too broad. Claim 1, a vehicle comprising a frame, first and second front wheels. You can't see the other side, but we all know it's 4 wheels in this car. First and second rear wheels, aligned and spaced behind the first and second front wheels, a seat connected to the frame, a removable top made of cloth, where each wheel rotates and is connected to the frame. Now, for us engineers, we know that the wheels and the seat aren't directly connected to the frame. It's connected to a part of the body. The wheels are connected to the axles, but please humor me. So we see this yellow, what looks like a Volkswagen Bug Beetle convertible, and but if I were to get this claim as a patent application, okay, what prior art is out there that would read on that claim? What a Conestoga wagon has is a vehicle. It has a frame, front wheels, rear wheels, a seat. You see the seat. A removable top portion made of cloth, wherein each wheel rotates and is connected to the frame. Yeah, that wagon reads on that claim. So does Mr. Car Manufacturer have a patent? Probably not. Oh, definitely not. Now, sometimes the claims can be overly specific, okay? So the applicant amended the claim and added some more features to it. So now the wagon does not read on the vehicle as claimed, as you see, because it doesn't have a motor, it doesn't have a yellow frame, doesn't have hinge doors, it doesn't have glass windows or red lights or bumpers or wheels made of rubber. But is that patentable? No, probably not. And could this inventor get a patent on this? Again, probably not. But what could he get? If you were on the presentation yesterday with Miss Doherty, she talked about the different types of IP. You have patents and trademarks and copyrights. So just like the UPS brown truck, what if this was a fleet of Uber drivers that, or rather Uber came up with its own car and made it yellow. So Uber may come up with its own yellow color. So that's a trademark. That yellow may be a trademark. Or maybe if they, just like the UPS truck looks like no other truck out there, the front end of it, maybe they can take this Volkswagen or whatever kind of car and come up with its own front end, and that can be its own design pattern. So just because you may not have a patent, you can still have some type of intellectual property out there, be it design patents or trademarks, or even yeah, I won't get into copyrights, but yeah, trademarks. So before drafting claims, it is important to answer these questions. What is the invention? What are the pieces and parts that make up that invention? How do they relate to one another? You know, the previous claim said the wheels are connected to the frame. Well, it's connected to an axle. The axle is connected to a drivetrain, which is connected to the frame. Do you have more than one invention? Okay, so listed below that are the 4 different types of patents. You can have an apparatus, a machine, a composition, or a method of making, a method of using the apparatus, the machine, or composition. And are there, again, different versions or embodiments of each invention? Thinking strategically. So what is it that you're hoping to accomplish? You want to obtain the broadest valid claim possible, obtain claims with a variety of claim scope, not just at the time of filing, but during prosecution. And are at least some claims you file likely to be patentable without an amendment? Thinking strategically. How much can you afford to spend on claims? As I was saying earlier, you know, you can have up to 3 and up to 20 claims before you incur excess fees. But up to that, you get $115 per independent claim, and let's see, total in excess 25. Yeah. So it's not just at the time of filing, but during prosecution. Okay. So if you're adding claims, then you would have to pay more for each one that you that you add. Now note, all of the above costs are for micro entity. Okay. So that's like the least expensive of the filing fees out there. Claim drafting. So drafting a claim in a utility patent has 3 main parts: a preamble, or that's the introduction, just like a vehicle. Okay. A transition phrase, such as comprising or consisting of, and the body reciting the elements of the invention. So talking about the transitional phrases, you have comprising, or which comprising, that's the most commonly used. It's open-ended, and the claim encompasses all of the listed elements and maybe even more. Consisting of is closed-ended, and the claim elements are limited to those as listed and no more. Think of your chemistry sets or so. You know, if you want to make something or create something, you have these elements and alloys and everything, and you've made that with one specific purpose. But if you add something else to it, it'll change the makeup. So that's a situation where you would use consisting of instead of comprising. Claim drafting dues. Particularly point out and distinctly claim the subject matter regarded as the invention. Consider drafting your claims first and then the specification. Review both to make necessary additions and corrections. Look at the claims patents issued in your field of technology. This is key. You know, it was for your area. You know, go to Google. Go to Google Patents, patents.google.com. Oh, and by the way, the USPTO just recently, last week, opened up its new public search tool that you can use from home. Previously, you would have to go to the office, to the headquarters in Alexandria, or you can go to one of our PTRC libraries or so to get a patent search. Now with this new system, you can do that at home. So anyhow, ensure each term has proper antecedent use, and think about what legal protection you would need for your invention. Claim drafting don'ts. Do not use claims covering 2 statutory classes of invention, not in one claim. You can do them separately. A widget, ... and a method, ... But you can't use a widget and a method in one claim. Do not use terms inconsistently in either between or either the claims and the specification. Do not write multi-sentence claims. Again, it is one sentence. And lastly, do not replace elements from one claim element with a dependent claim. Resources. These are all on the USPTO website, uspto.gov. And if you see something here, you can just use the search tool. And some of these things were given out yesterday. Utility patent application guide, patent process, the search guide that's going to be updated. Yeah, just do search, okay, and that would tell you where the new patent search tool is. If you're interested in trademarks, Trademark Assistance Center. I'm going to skip down pro se, micro entity limits as far as fees go. Pro bono help, you can get pro bono help there. First inventors to file. In the law school clinic program, that is a great way to get help with your patent application, and they'll even write your patent application for you. It's not just getting help, but they will serve as your legal representation. I spoke with the team from the IP Law School Clinic team at North Carolina Central a couple of weeks ago, and they were helping folks all the way out in California, not just North Carolina, but California and Iowa, Idaho, helping them get their patents. The Office of Innovation Development is doing virtual because the office is closed due to the pandemic. Virtual assistant by appointment for pro se applicants. A pro se applicant is a person that's going to draft his own patent application and claims without the use of a patent agent or patent attorney. Assistance hotline, there's a number there. There's an email address to reach out to the Innovation Development, the PTRC. Those are libraries throughout the country that can help you with that. I've used that myself to learn how to do trademark searches. Inventor outreach, there are multiple independent inventor conferences and organizations out there to help you with that. And of course, uspto.gov/inventors. Okay, my name is Bobby Rushing. Thank you very much. I did not give a total view of myself. I'm from Hampton Roads. I live in Bowie, Maryland right now. From Hampton Roads, I was born and raised in Newport News, went to Norfolk State University, and I've been here at the office for nearly 10 years. So if you have any questions, I guess I can stop sharing.
Bobby, this is Dan.
Sure.
To what extent do you see digital video used for patent applications? Is it like a reference, an add-on reference material?
It can be for prior art. Sometimes, I mean, even I would say, hey, here's a YouTube video that would show a portion of what your invention is. I'm going to include it in the list of references. And also during interviews are where the applicant and or the attorney meets either by a phone or a virtual meeting with the patent examiner to talk about the particulars of the case, the claim specification, whatever the issue is. And there's been a couple of times, even like 20 years ago, when I first worked at the office, the attorney came in with a video cassette player of some sort and showed me what the applicant's invention was. It's like, oh, that's neat, that's great, okay, fine. So yeah, that's the extent of videos with patent applications. I mean, you would, because everything is done in paper, and I say that in quotes because you can submit it electronically. I don't see just yet. I'm not a futurist. I don't see just yet the office getting towards video submission.
Okay, that's good to know. Everybody, we have some time, and so if you would prefer to turn your mics on for any questions or video, it's up to you.
I think David Perkins has his hand up.
Yep. There you go, David.
Yeah, thanks for that presentation, Bobby. And I had a question about who you see. I mean, who's your client? Who do you see the most of? Do you see it as existing corporations, startups, universities, that kind? I'm just interested in like who you see a lot of as applicants. And then at the very end there, you mentioned the pro se applicant, and that was interesting to me because in my work as a startup mentor, a lot of really early stage companies are unsure yet of the viability of their market or of their business model, and yet they feel like they have something, and they're concerned about spending a lot of money on legal representation on patents. And it seems like pro se might be the way for those early stage folks to get at least I forgot what you call that, but the first to file or the provisional filing, just to kind of get that started. So I was wondering if you had any comments for that group of folks, that's really early, and maybe just looking to kind of get their foot in the door on that process without having to really go the full legal route.
Yeah, sure. To your first question about what representation do I see as far as applicant goes, that would be specific to the different types of art. And when I say art, I'm not talking about artwork and pictures and stuff. I'm talking about the different areas, technology areas. Being that I work in like vehicle transmissions, I'm going to see a lot of car manufacturers, car and truck manufacturers. I'm seeing John Deere, Ford, Honda, Toyota, Volkswagen, all of that. Robots, I'm seeing the large industrial robot companies. I don't see too many university and tech transfer offices and everything, but somebody that's in the chemical arts, they may see a lot of chemical. I mean, they may see a lot of tech transfer college universities because those entities are doing that kind of research, materials and all that kind of stuff. Oh, and to your second point, for the pro se, again, there's the pro se assistance center. You can USPTO.gov and do a search on that. And again, the college, what's it called? I just hold on, I got it up. Still up.
You got it. Maybe the answer is go look at your last slide for the resources, and it's over there. That might be the answer.
Law school clinics, Bobby?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. That's Tamika Obashan. She's my colleague and my supervisor here at the Eastern Regional Outreach Office. Let me go back and share the screen here, and I can leave this up. That'll be a great resource for everybody to continue to see. Okay, so can you see that? The resource center, you can take a look there. Yeah, the Pro Se Assistance Center, the law school clinic. Again, they were great in helping companies, small businesses, micro entities as yourselves and everybody on the call to to look at. Now, the law school clinic has a patent attorney as the managing attorney over the law school students. Okay, so it's law school students that's helping you with your application, but they're being overseen by an actual patent attorney that's registered with the PTO. And each law school clinic is certified by the PTO. So it's not every law school out there, but there are some. There's some law school clinic. I want to say George Washington is one. George Mason, I think, is one. So yeah, there's quite a few out there.
I appreciate that. You got it for me. Thank you.
Sure. Tamika, yes.
Thank you. I should raise my hand. My apologies. I did put a few links in the chat and supporting the information you've shared.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and I didn't mention the pro bono program as well. Yeah, that's a for those with not a lot of income. Any other questions? Dan?
Bobby, this is Dan again. When pursuing a patent, when your offices receive that and review, when there is a point of differentiation on something. So let's do a real cumbersome analogy. So airplanes used to have 2 wings. Then Fokker came up with a 3-wing airplane. So roll that to modern day, where there might be a patent that had on something that had some core functionality, but new idea, leveraging some of that technology, does something different or in a unique way. Is that a viable patent potentially? Or is there a conflict based on some core patent that might have had 40 or 50% of that functionality?
I mean, as long as that patent application with, you know, however many wings serves a function, whether it helps the plane fly faster, save on fuel, what have you, and you know, it's the, you know, it's the structural part that would, you know, that would be evaluated, you know, how it works and everything, you know, that would be you know, what's up for discussion between the applicant and the examiner. So I can't really give a definite yes or no answer to your hypothetical question. Sorry about that.
No, your answer was solid. I mean, you just don't know until you get into the details of any application like that, and when it's close to a previously held patent in a like area, functionality wise, et cetera. There's got to be some points of differentiation.
Yeah, certainly, and that's what would differentiate your invention from either being abandoned or not, either being abandoned, or if the applicant wants to take the case to the appeal board, or it being allowable. I mean, because, you know, as an examiner, I've seen several applications, of course, and I'm thinking of one instance where the applicant and I mean, this is pretty much typical. You know, we go back and forth on what the applicant says is the invention, and I have prior art that says, hey, this reference or a combination of these references still add up to what you are inventing. Now, if what you're saying is true, you could better describe this part right here. I'm thinking of one application in particular that was different from all the prior art. Then boom, this right here is where you want to put your claim in, you know, to more specify in your claim, and you know, you may have an allowance then.
Great. Any other questions out there? All right, I have another one. Bobby.
Thank you, Ms. Akins. That's all you. Yes, sir.
Some people say, I have heard people have the school of thought that says, why bother getting a patent? Infringement's always going to be out there. So unless you're willing to fight in court on these things and fund that, don't even bother. What would you say to somebody that spoke of that?
I would say think of the successful folks. You know, they may still be battling with infringement. I'm sorry, but they're still making a lot of money. That's one way to think about it. I don't really deal with the legal aspects of the patent after it's been awarded. So that's a tough one for me.
Well, you raise a good point too, that if there's a funding stream coming from a product that they have patented, and that doesn't stop necessarily because somebody else is doing something that's pretty close and could be considered an infringement. That's got to be a parallel effort. But like you said, the original patent is in existence, and potentially the business funding stream from that is flowing, and so that's a secondary effort. But I mean, to me, in my opinion, just my opinion, I would pursue a patent because I think it's a level of protection that for one's creativity that could potentially pay off a lot more. And I think that's what you're referencing, Bobby, pay off a lot more if there's a patent in place. If there isn't, well, you can get sliced and diced out there, and people just walk all over you and take whatever idea you came up with and just run with it.
And this also came to mind that the U.S. Commerce Department has a Stop Fakes initiative out there to stop patent infringers, trademark infringers. You also have Amazon. Amazon is doing something where if your product has a trademark, for example. Now I know it's different from having a patent, but if your product that you're selling on Amazon, let's say, has a trademark, then they will go after anybody that's trying to sell something that copies your trademark, and they would not sell it on their platform. Now that's just Amazon, but that is something that's out there. The PTO also has offices not just throughout the United States, but throughout the world. And say that a certain large country that I won't name, you have patent infringers in that country. You can contact the USPTO's representatives in that country to say, hey, I'm seeing this coming out of China. Could you take a look at it and perhaps see about getting that stopped? So there are different ways and different methods and different avenues to perhaps go after patent and even trademark infringers.
And you referenced something else that had come to mind as well. And you just mentioned that. So you have USPTO offices around the world?
Yes.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Tamika, what is that that office that called? I'm running a blank right now, but
the Office of International Patent Cooperation, is that one, or OPIA? Which one? I'll put the link in the chat.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yeah, because we have
So
because I mean, because it's a little known fact that the PTO has its own kind of a State Department, and everybody has our attorneys. Some of them are patent attorneys, and they are stationed in different regions, different countries around the world: Europe, Asia, South America, and everything. So yeah, that would be great.
that's fascinating. Who are the top 3 countries around the world filing patents?
Great question. What I can do is put in the chat the dashboard information, and we keep stats. So I'll share that, and that information perhaps is located in that dashboard.
That would be great. The follow-up question to that is, who are the top 3 regions in the United States filing patents? So if that information contains both of those, a dashboard where we can find that would be fascinating information.
Sure. Yep.
Anybody else out there have a question for our distinguished thought leader here?
You can also put your question in the chat.
Thank you for those links. I think we only have, pardon me, 4 minutes before conclusion, unless there's any other questions. Perhaps we should move into wrap-up stage. Does that work for you, Bobby?
Sure, sure. Yeah, I'm trying to think of that
Sure.
of that office, and because I was thinking about applying to it myself so I can get some global travel.
Yeah, there you go.
So the two offices that are mentioned, Bobby, is Office of International Patent Cooperation, or OIPC, and the other is the Office of Policy and International Affairs.
Okay.
I put the links in the chat for both.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic. So moving into wrap-up phase, Bobby, thank you very much for your presentation materials today. Very, very informative.
Thank you very
Appreciate that. And for everybody, the intention here is, as you know, we have 5 programs running Monday through Friday of this week. I will open up and manage the Monday through Thursday programs. Mr. David Perkins, president of HRIC, will manage the Friday program. And at the conclusion of all that, I'll send out an email to all registrants with the links to the video. So we move all videos up to YouTube. I'll publish that email with 5 links and any presentation material that we can get from everyone, all the presenters, if you will. And so there we have it. It's this is just a great thing when we talk about innovation and establishing innovation economy and inventing things and creating things. You know, patents are a big part of that. So I think that there's a lot of work that can be done, which you guys are doing, that we can share with as many people who will listen, even our young kids coming up that are toying with the idea of creating something. Patents are a big step along the way. So I want to thank everybody for registering and for participating in this event. Again, thank you to Mr. Bobby Rushing for his thought leadership. And unless there's any final questions, we're just about right at the hour. And last call for chat or Mike. All right, I think we did it. David, anything else from you?
Thanks very much, Bobby. Looking forward to the rest of the sessions.
Sure thing. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.
Thank you all for coming.